Hello, Miss Paige. Okay. So as I told you, the
Hmm.
fact that you resonate with me,
Yeah.
um, part of the reason, well, I miss you.
I,
That's probably the
I
biggest
miss you
reason.
too.
And not having you be able to be there, so I started coming back once in a while, like to coach a couple people and Caitlin and stuff like that, and
Sweet.
just to work out and play and stuff. But s- selfishly, it's not nice to not be able to just walk in and see you because
Oh.
my hugs that I get from you are missed, your smile, your
Ah.
giggle. So I miss you. And there's a lot of things that go into that you part. Um, I always felt uplifted when I was around you. So it was, even if you were more down or something like that, it was still your attempt to be positive. Like, not a struggle to be positive, but you were like, no, I'm intentionally trying to be positive is contagious, and I loved it because that's what I try to do because that's not always my natural state,
Oh
even
yeah.
though it seems like I'm like I am a human unicorn by choice.
Right? It is.
I mean, yes, my natural state, my frequency flows that way,
Mhm.
but my brain doesn't always flow that way.
For sure.
So um
Yep.
but I wanted to share you with the YouTube universe because when I first met you, geez, was it three and a half years ago?
Probably, yeah, close to 4 years ago.
24. Okay. And you you weren't you weren't shy. You just weren't super out loud like. Well, then again, I was also coming in, so I'm a little enough for both of us sometimes. Just let's be transparent, like and it seemed like you were kind of okay with. I'm gonna kind of look at you like a good 5 minute break from work and just kind of figure out what's going on here. But I'm listening to you, but it's like entertaining for me.
For
It
sure.
was our interactions, and but you were a little more quiet, and then over the time of knowing you, you opened up to me about some stuff that whether you want to go into or not, I don't. That's not even important. Well, not that's not important. You don't like
Yeah.
that.
I,
Just that you trusted me with when you shared it with me,
yeah.
like your personal life and some of your past and everything, and then I guess you felt a little more comfortable with me,
Mhm.
noting that I hadn't abused that information or that privilege, and I wasn't a butthole most of the time. So I was genuine or whatever. But you kept opening up, and then what I saw is you trying things, and you going instead of going with, well, what if I fail? Like I was telling you a little bit before, like, what if I fail? What if it doesn't succeed? What if it's not the way I view it? And yes, it was through encouragement and everything else, but ultimately it was your continued choices to say, well, what if I do? What if it works out? What if I like it? What if I like doing this? Like, I guess I'm gonna run. Let's do some running, which I still think probably mentally broken at that point in your life. So that's why you ran, because that's what anybody who runs just to like you just said, adding some miles in. And I'm like, yeah, that's what you do. I haven't
Deep
done a mile this year
within.
combined, so that's okay.
Yeah.
Um, but to be able to be part of that journey and watch that and know you, to me was really special. And to see, I was sad, like I said, selfishly, and I know Brian was sad selfishly that you outgrew Adams because that's what it was. It wasn't you left. Do you know what I mean? It was like you outgrew it. You were somewhere else, and like no hard. It's weird because you see most society is like, oh, there must have been something that happened, or you had to leave, or you. But that's not how real life really is supposed to be. You know what I mean? It's like maybe I want to do this now,
Yeah.
and I'm good at my job. I'm good here, but I'm going to try this. And And to see your joy in your post is so evident and so inspiring. I don't have a better word. And it's been so cool. And to watch you be like, I remember when you told me, well, I'm kind of starting yoga, I kind of like it, That's what it started with. It was in the morning time. So I don't remember if it was a Friday or maybe it was a Friday. I can't remember. Like one of the cool things that we used to come to sometimes. But
Oh yeah.
you were just like, yeah, I'm doing yoga and stuff. And then like a couple weeks later on your post, it was, hey, I'm taking this yoga course.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh.
Mhm.
Then like some time passed and you know, hey, I'm doing some yoga at Adams. And I was like, yes.
Mhm.
And yes, it's that, sad that you were moving on, but I got excited for you when you were like, okay, I'm leaving. I'm literally like, no more umbilical cord. I'm gonna go be a big girl. I bought the pants and everything. I put them on. Let's go. And like I said, to see this smile
Aw.
just is genuine and like coming through a video, it's so awesome and exciting and fills me with like not gratitude because I guess it's gratitude, but it's gratitude for you. You know what I mean? Like happiness for you.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to make a point because when I recentered my life, that's one thing. I know I'm not the most superficial person, which that's part of the reason why keeping things concise has never been my strong suit, and I'm okay with it.
Yep.
And I'm a little flowery with my conversation because ultimately, if I could just grab somebody and hug them for an hour, then I would probably be okay for a minute.
Oh yeah.
And one of the things, like I said, I really like is missing you. So when I see your post or whatever and I miss you, I miss being around you. I don't miss what you do for me, which yes, you lighten the mood and you make me smile and your hugs are bomb. Like I know you know this because you're like, okay. And I don't know if that was just me, but you have always hugged me. Like I was the only person you were gonna hug that day, and it was a real connection. Like, okay, you never gave me the first. You never gave me the bro hug. Like, mhm.
No. No.
But it's like that when you're in a conversation with somebody and anything else is going on and they're locked in on you. You saw me. Even if I wasn't like, hey, I really need a hug right now. I need someone to invest in me right this minute. You would just when we're intuitive and you would just do that.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you were aware that you did that or if you knew that, but you would just be there and basically hold me because our hugs were not like quick hugs. And to me that's extremely valuable because some days in that aspect I was not the best at honestly asking for help or asking for. I just need a mental check in with somebody else right now, or you know what I mean. Like, can somebody just ask me how I'm doing? You know,
For sure.
and you did that naturally without necessarily being like, because I don't think you're like I'm not going to get in your business right now. Whereas I am, I'm like, hey Paige, you talking to a boy? What's this boy's name? Do I like this boy? Am I going to meet this boy? Do I have to get a bigger boy to threaten that boy? Like, what's going on? you know. But you came to me the way you care and the way you love, and you loved me in that moment, and to me it was very important and very appreciated. I don't even know if you really paid attention to those, but I did, and I appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of my 17 cents that I've been wanting to do, and what I've decided is I'm not going to let people, if people have touched me, which most people I remember they really do, I'm going to
Mhm.
let them know, and I'm going to be specific. I'm not going to send a text and say, hey, you know what, you're all right. or
Mhm.
because even though I'm not surface, this is my natural state. And like when you started talking about yoga and you started, or when you were sharing with me sometimes, when it was just you and I, that was your natural state. Your natural state was very much connected. And to me, that's what I crave. I crave connection, the stupid BS in life. Like people say, oh, I want to take a break from social media. Most of my social media is super inspiring, and the stories I save and the places I visit. And Facebook is good because it reminds me of awesome pictures and people's birthdays. So people are, I don't have the same experience because I don't choose to. I make
Right.
intentional decisions daily to go a different route. Which what I like is, going from timid, once again, I don't want to say shy necessarily, but more timid,
Mhm.
reserved
Yeah.
to testing your limits and like experiencing yourself be awesome is super cool. And I'm really proud of you and excited for you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. You're so sweet. I'm like blushing and like tearing up a little, but yeah, I mean, I think that the people that we see in passing or the people that we see consistently, they're not just people that happen to cross our paths. It's not a coincidence. I don't think there's any such thing as coincidence. I think that it's all there for a higher purpose. And I think a lot of the higher purpose that you and I experienced when we were just in passing, right, was connection. You love connection. I love connection. I looked up to you and your bubbly nature and the way that you were able to smile when like it seemed like on days no one had been smiling, right? Or I mean, and Adams is a really happy place, but there were stressors for sure, just like any job. And so for you to come in with like big bubbly like smiley energy was like so needed. So needed. And good people attract good people, and to be around you and have when you walk in the door and everyone was welcoming to you, it's for a reason, because you're just like, we're good people, you're good people. And whether people know it or not, there is like this energetic connection that we feel, right? You know when someone's giving off good energy, whether you call it that or not, but you know it and you're attracted to it and you want more of it. And I think it's contagious. And the more that we're able to just share that light and connection, then just what a brighter world, even just a brighter day or a brighter moment for half a second. Amazing. So, yeah.
That right there is why you're the bomb. Because your light has gotten bigger and bigger, brighter, 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 brighter until you. And so that's why you outgrew that shade of Adams. It wasn't, you know what I mean? Like the light was bright, and you were like, "Go supernova, then. Like, go
Yeah.
get out of here, supernova. Let's see it."
Yeah.
So it's like, what have you been up to?
Yeah, I
I
think.
think
Well, I just want to touch on. Oh, are we good?
I can barely hear you.
Oh no, are we frozen?
No, you're good there.
Okay, good. Yeah, no, I think I just wanted to touch on when you say outgrew. I think that's the perfect word, because I mean, really, me leaving is like a lot more mundane than anything else. I just was like, it's time. Like, well, when I first met Brian Adams, and so for anyone who knows Brian Adams, then you know his light, right? It's so giant, so big, and it's contagious, like we were just talking about. And so, but he has been a giant mentor for me, and knowing him and having his support, especially when I just really haven't felt like utmost support or even love from, like, I don't know, like your family or the people who you think are supposed to give you support emotionally or just encouragement when you need it. Um, Having that sort of mentorship from him was huge. And so that was a big part of me chasing a dream that I guess I still don't even know what that is going to come to, but seeing him pursue his dream, seeing and hearing from him like you can do anything, right? If there's something that you have your heart set on, you can do that, or you can at least try. And that's my thing. Like if I'm not going to take a chance on me, like who is, right? Like
That's
I
just a,
have to
yeah.
be I've got to take a chance on me before anyone else will. So um, but what I've been up to since I left is that I took a teacher training, a yoga teacher training, 200-hour certification. So then I started teaching yoga more and more frequently. I felt kind of torn because I wanted to keep teaching more, but like Adams at the time was not just my family, but also my job and my livelihood, my responsibility. So I just kept feeling more and more torn. And then there was a point where I was like, everything that I'm doing right now is just not sustainable. I cannot, like, I cannot be at Adams 40 hours a week, um, and then some, maybe just because, that's how it goes. I can't do that and teach yoga however many times a week. And at the time, I had just met my now boyfriend, and so I can't. And he lived a little bit further away, and I was just doing too much. Like this is not sustainable. So ultimately, it wasn't really like a I didn't think about it too much. I just was like, yoga's it. Like, this is for me. This is where my passion lies, and I've got to at least see where it goes. And so I've just been doing that. I've just been seeing where it's going every single day. I don't know. But I've been teaching a lot of yoga. I moved from the Novi area to White Lake. So I'm in White Lake, Michigan. I moved in with my partner Eric, and it's been fun. And then I left Adams, and now I'm teaching full time. And I left Adams in September. No, I think maybe October of last year. But I just now am at the point where I have like a full schedule that's like financially stable, which is a hard thing to do. This is not like a lucrative business to be in. And so I've been teaching a lot in studios. I teach at 3 different studios. There's Yoga Shelter, which they have 4 locations, and Power Yoga in Northville. That's my home studio. That's where I earned my certification, my teacher
Nice.
training, and In Harmony in Milford. So those are my 3 homes right now. I bounce all around and teach there probably 15 to 20 times a week total. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And then I've been doing some stuff outside of that on my own, a little bit of like private yoga sessions, as well as sound baths, which, if you know anything about, their meditative instruments
Yeah.
that are used
The
to, yeah,
bowls. Is
yeah.
that the
So
bowls?
singing bowls, ocean drums, all chimes, and a hand pan. So all of these really fun meditative instruments, which incorporates really well with yoga. So I've been doing a little bit of both, bringing it into a studio setting, doing that from our home. We've had some events. We're right on the lake here in White Lake. I'm so grateful. It's so beautiful. And but we've had some events here in our backyard too, which is really nice. So
That's awesome.
I'm just kind of seeing where it goes. I think my biggest goal, my biggest passion is that like yoga has been so transformational for me. It's a gift that has honestly ingrained so much self-awareness, that's infinite. I think self-awareness and learning about yourself and evolving and growing is infinite. And yoga is just for me about connection, compassion, and equanimity, and those are the 3 things I take from that. So my biggest goal is to be able to provide some kind of platform and share that same gift with as many people as possible. So yeah.
That is so awesome. Because now
Yeah.
you're it. You're the center. You're the, well, not the source. I know what I'm saying somewhat, but you're the center of like but it's the same thing I'm doing, but it's for a bigger reason. It's
Absolutely.
the higher purpose. It's, you know, like I actually agreed to do I'm going to do a speaking engagement this summer, September. I don't know, whatever September is. It's like fall, summer, whatever it is. Could be snowing and it could be 85. Like, we don't know. It's Michigan. But I agreed to do it because one of the goals I set, because I used to do public speaking, was I would like to do a speaking engagement again, because part of my message isn't just for me. I'm aware of what I've gone through and the message I have, and I have compassion for people. But some people, it would be selfish of me to then not to be aware of it and not share it.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And so, but to be as impactful as I really want to be, I have to hone that skill and not just half-ass it. So good bottle, by the way. I didn't realize until like just before I got on here, I had this shirt on. I know. Brian did one of these interviews for me. He's like way back early last year.
Yay. Okay, I didn't know
I know.
that.
And
Watch it.
yeah, so I think what I really like is that you went from being okay to be like, I'm okay being back here and like kind of a support, to being brave, which is courageous, which is not the absence of fear. It's the ability to act while afraid and say, okay, I don't know what this looks like, but I have to do it.
Yep.
And in relative terms, you're still young. And so, like, if you're going to go comparative, you're young. I'm not going to go there because these gray hairs will fall out and then I'll be more sad. But you said, you know what? This is too important to not do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's that is to me that is what the world needs more than ever.
Yeah.
It's people to say there's something bigger than me, and regardless of how uncomfortable it's going to make me or how mentally I might think like, oh, I don't know if this is right. Like, the ends justify the means, and the ends is impact people, share this amazing transformative. I love COVID brain. Like, I'm like, I know that word. Like, that's not even a big word. I know that word. A transformative, experience, and share that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Well,
just think
two things come up for me when you say that. There's uh one, there's a quote that I it just relates to kind of me in a way that um, kind of made me take a leap of faith in following this journey of teaching and pursuing yoga full time. Um, I don't know who said the quote actually, but it says, "Be in the pursuit of what sets your soul on fire."
hold on, say that one
And
more
if
time,
there's
because
something, be fearless in the pursuit of what sets your soul on fire. So for me, that's just like, if something is really just like lighting up your heart and it's lighting up the fire inside of you that's full of inspiration and joy and it sparks that flame, then like why wouldn't you go for it, right? And that, like you said, it's not about not being scared, it's not fearlessness, like it's courage, because you're scared. I'm scared all the time. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just figuring it out. Like, and but the more that I learn, the more I realize that we're all just sort of figuring it out, right? Like, we look at these people who, and we can look up to people and have amazing role models and mentors and teachers throughout our lives who we learn from and who we grow from. um, but to say that, oh, they know it all, they know the secret, they've got it down, like, they don't, they're also just figuring it out too. So that kind of resonates with me, and the whole like be fearless in that pursuit. And then, yeah, I guess the other thing that comes up for me too is that, like, tomorrow is not promised. It's just not. And it's maybe like not to get dark or anything, but there has to be darkness in order for light to come through. So like that the idea that we might push things off until not even just tomorrow, but like I'll do that in a few years, right? Or maybe I'll make that leap when I feel more financially stable, or maybe I'll do that thing once I know more about it, or just kind of all these things that like we push off to the future, but like that future like might never come. And I just don't like all the things that you want to do tomorrow, do them today, because tomorrow's just not
It's
promised. And I sure as hell just don't want to live my life thinking, oh, well, what if, right? If anything, I just want to say I went for it. And even if it didn't work out, it didn't work out, but it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing that and
yeah,
trying that.
look at all the things I tried.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That sounds a lot more fun than like, oh man, I've just been doing this thing, wishing and hoping I could do that other thing. Right. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm scared every day. I figure it out. I get, we're human, and this is a journey, teaching yoga full time it's a fucking hustle. Can I swear? I don't know.
Yes, you can.
Okay, it's fucking hustle. And I thought that it was going to be a little bit easier than it ended up being. I don't know why I thought that. I but maybe that's good, because if I knew everything that it would entail, I might not have made that leap, right? I would have been like, meh, no thanks. But in figuring it out, it's not easy to, first of all, like you kind of get thrown into the fire. You have this certification, and then you just kind of get thrown into a group of people, and it's like sink or swim, which is great because there's no better way to learn. But it's a constant learning process, and it's infinite. There's
Yes.
no end to this. And I think that's why I love it so much, because it's like a puzzle that I can't figure out, and I'm a total nerd, so I'm like, oh, I can just keep learning. Oh, there's more there. Oh, let's dig into that. Let's uncover that. So it's hard because you're constantly feeling like you don't know what you don't know, right?
Are you
um
covering the microphone?
am I?
Yeah, I
Maybe.
think you were.
Okay.
There
Yeah,
you go.
yeah. So you're
Yeah, you
constantly,
don't know what you don't know.
yeah, you don't until you know, and then
Yep.
that other stuff you don't know. So I love that it's limitless and infinite, but that's kind of hard at first, because you just like you want to show up in the room for your students with a sense of confidence, in your own competence, in saying that like I'm here to guide you. If you don't know what you're doing, I'm kind of the expert in that area, and I'll lead you all the way through. You don't have to think about anything, right? So you want to show up with that nature, but it's a hard balance to think that like, okay, I've never tried this thing out in class before, whether it's that's a theme, different structure of the class and the style. You just try it and see how it goes. So that's hard, as well as it's hard to build your schedule, especially during a pandemic.
Yeah,
Everyone,
you took a leap. You were like, I'm gonna bet on myself when
well,
2020.
maybe that was more like irresponsibility than anything, but
Well, no, because the external forces aren't gonna change your internal calling, no
that's
matter what. It just doesn't. Like you
right.
said, you found that spark.
Mhm.
So instead of walking around to different areas inside yourself saying, well, maybe that's not the biggest spark. Maybe I have a safer spark. Maybe I have a spark that I can come to in a year. It's that's my spark.
Yep. Yep. So,
And one thing I would encourage you, so the idea of expert, yes. Like if I came to class and I said, I don't know what I'm doing, which would be 93% accurate, because I've done yoga several different ways and several times and stuff, but I'm aware of how little I know. I'm aware of a lot of what I don't know. But
right.
remember, being human is also being vulnerable and being so. I think what happens is we think of a wow, yeah, the brain just did that. So what that term was like, you're the expert, as an expert means perfect, and it's not the exact same. An expert is somebody who has willingness and has tried a lot of things,
Mhm.
but in go like if you try something, there's a good chance, and if it's hard, a really good chance that you're not going to be successful immediately.
Oh yeah.
And they stayed with it. So to me, that's what an expert is. An expert is somebody who's like, I put my time in. I'm showing up. And what I like is pardon me, from the limited different yogas I know, and what I'm grateful for is I know a lot of yoga people. Not shocking, I guess, because I'm in tune to being a light and having like my frequency. So I guess it's not that weird that I would have yogi friends. Um, but it really is like it's just we want to meet you where you are and just help you to where you want to go.
Yeah.
And it's which is all I'm trying to do, and all I've ever tried to do, meeting people, whether it's in recovery, whether it's at the gym, whether it's one of my favorite things about having had so many physical issues to be able to utilize your guys' services so often
Mhm.
was I'm able to help a lot of people. I'm able to help people through what I would consider my hardships or the hard times, you know what I mean? And by being understanding that like ultimately I am that light and I love that light about me and I want to shed that light. So if this helps me be able to bring light to somebody, then that's cool. And to me, that's what I know that is what you are. That's the way you kind of approach things. And because, because of some of the stuff I know of you growing up, it's not like you were all like, "Whoa, life is perfect for me," you know. And but what was important. I say important. I don't know why I say that, but is that you said, you know what? Here's my nature. I'm caring. I'm compassionate. Basically, all the stuff you said about me, which is funny, but that's okay. Uh, and you really are bubbly. You might not be bubbly like, hey, I walk into a room of 100 people. How come people are not knowing me yet, as I do? And that's okay. But when, like I said, when you're with somebody, when you're hugging somebody, like that bubble, that love, that intimacy and vulnerability is there, and that's why, like, oh, you can tell a lot about a person when they hug you. I really believe that. And oh, you are like an A plus plus. Telling you.
My friend, I just had dinner with her last night, and she said something about we were talking about hugging also, and she was like, "Yeah, you just need six hugs for maintenance, and then 12 more for growth." I'm like, "Yeah, exactly."
I like it. She's got it down. She's got numbers. That's easy. Metrics. Oh, yeah, you froze for a sec. Sorry. I
Yeah.
have. I'm in my bedroom, and so randomly I don't get as much service because both kids are out of school.
Oh, yeah, that's fun. No, you're fine.
So
You're good.
yeah.
You're not,
So
but
what are some, because I know you actually do better with goals, and you already said it on here, so I'm going to go ahead and broach that subject with you. What are some of your summer goals? Because those are mid-range goals,
yeah,
and you also do better with goals. So what
yes.
are some of those mid-range goals that you have that maybe you would like to share with people on the YouTube?
I do. I so do. Summer goals are planning more events. So, doing a lot of studio work is amazing. And I'm so grateful for all of the reach that it provides me with so many different people and so many different communities. But there are things that I guess I think like we don't say this enough, like especially women. Like it's okay to say like I want to be in charge, right? I want to be in charge. I
Yeah.
see things because I'm exposed to a few different studios. I see things where I go, I would do that different, or that could be done a little better, right? Or that's just like not my style. But here's what I would do if it was my style. So starting to be able to have like a little more experience now, about a year of teaching. So that's a little bit. I want to start planning more of my own events. So, and I want to collaborate with the people that I love and the people that I dig what they do too. So, and kind of just bringing those energies together, I think, is always fun. So like I said, we want to share our space in our backyard again this summer with some yoga events, and then the other thing we're really into right now is sound, like I said, the sound healing, the sound baths. I mean, there are studies that these like ancient sound healing instruments have helped cancer patients, and maybe it's not even to that extent, but we're all going through our own healing in some way, whatever it is, whether it's past wounds that we didn't even realize we didn't deal with, or something that just has plopped onto our plate and we don't know how to handle it. We're healing from that, all of us. And providing a space where people can just really tap into like what they're feeling, and having a space where they can heal from it without even having to talk about it, just whatever needs to be unfurled. Every time you get to a space where you're like a little more self-aware, something will be revealed to you whether you want it to or not.
Yeah.
you
Well played.
yeah. So I want to start doing more of the sound healing and the sound baths. My partner and I, Eric, we have done a lot of that together, and which is really neat because then we can like layer all the instruments over top of each other, not just like one at a time. If I were to do it myself, people have seemed to really enjoy that. I think all that kind of shit used to be like woo woo hippie, right? And now, especially after the pandemic and the things that everyone has gone through over the past year, we're a little more open to like what can I do to make me feel good, right? And we're realizing that those things make us feel good. I love that. Like,
And what I like is, hopefully, I've gotten to try to judge less the instrument of that, because part of like some of the stuff people I've done these connections with are very different. But what I like is, it doesn't matter how you get to that point. It's like, what, try.
mhm,
Like, and I know a lot of people who do yoga have tried lots of different yogas, but then they're like, yeah, but this is kind of the one I really like. And like, one of the things, you could see it. Like when
mhm,
you watch this again, you're going to be like, oh, apparently, yes, the sound healing is what we're going to be doing some more of, because you were like, okay, I'm going to get in Jeff's bedroom now. This sound
yeah,
stuff is pretty cool. And it
yep,
does, to me, it's even from a cerebral standpoint. Think about a casino. What do they do at casinos? Specific sounds to
mhm,
connect with people, to promote serotonin and dopamine. And so, I mean, they've done studies that we know sound affects the brain, and what heals us, what destroys us, our brain. So I think it's exciting. That's cool.
so exciting. I want to keep collaborating with our friends. I have a few friends who teach yoga. I think it's really fun to partner teach too. Like I want to share that stage and be like, I like you, I like your energy. Let's bring that to the table. Let's mix it in with mine, you know? So a lot of partner teaching coming up. We have some things planned with
Which, that takes a lot of humility.
oh
And like, I love co-coaching. I
yeah.
love that. Like co-speaking. Like the businesses that I'm trying to get, one of the businesses I'm trying to start is a for impact, which used to be called nonprofit. I don't
Oh,
like nonprofits. Simon Sinek was talking. He goes, why don't you say it positively? It's for impact. Well done.
yeah.
It's Yes, youth esteem services. It's a
Yeah.
foundation. It just really it helps get people who are awesome to give kids tools to be able to deal with the mental, physical, and spiritual struggles that it takes to be a human, so
Yep.
that they can have hopefully have a better adulthood. So, you know, I like that, and because of that, you kept saying collaborative like 3 or 4 times, because
Yeah.
that's the way I wanted to do it. Like that's the way, I tried to get my friend who did yoga. It just wasn't right because I wasn't really meant to be at that gym the way I was. But that's part of the reason why she didn't stay at that gym and do more yoga, and that didn't necessarily work out because ultimately, once again, it's the goal is more important than how we get there. And the goal is to impact and be very impactful. And if I'm impactful and she's impactful or he's impactful, if we can, if my ego is not involved,
Right.
wow, this is exciting.
Yeah. Exactly.
And
Yeah.
so I think that is a testament to you and to your willingness and
Thank you.
embracing that. And that is awesome. And I'm really proud of you. And I know that's just kind of probably not something that you're going to focus on all the time, but it's okay, I think, to be aware of it and be like, that's a growth spot. Like that's a big growth spot.
Thank you. Yeah. I guess I didn't realize that until you said it. So thank you.
Yeah, I know you. That's part of the reason you're also quite humble.
Sometimes, right? um, but yeah, I think that it's a lot of fun. Sometimes, especially like in our society, I think
Excuse me.
the bless you. I think the goal is, or we think that the goal is independence, and so much more often than not the goal is interdependence. We were created for connection, and we are meant to collaborate, we're meant to cultivate community. It's just like all of these amazing things can happen. You can do amazing things on your own, for sure. I'm going to do amazing things here on my own too, inside the studio on my own, but it's cooler with more the merrier, like cool people, let's do it. So collaborative events are on the schedule for the summer, some solo events here, and then I would like to continue to blend yoga, sound, and meditation, but um, seeing if we can do like even just a weekly sound share where whoever wants to come can come and just enjoy some meditative music. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
Oh,
that's all.
all right. Now that's the for other people. I know that's partially for you too, but okay. Now, so what are some of your summer goals?
Oh, my summer goals. Okay.
You're not
I
getting away with just being altruistic and wonderfully supportive of everybody else.
yeah, no. I would like to. I want to run more. I feel like I've gotten away from it just because I kind of dove into something new. I didn't even have like my feet under me, especially in that month, September. We took like the biggest, or October, we took like the biggest adventure trip of my life. And then I quit my job and then started teaching yoga. And then, you know, and then I moved in with said boy who I'd only known for 3 months. I wouldn't suggest doing. But no, it's good and it's great. But there's a lot of change going on, and running just kind of slipped through the cracks. So this summer, I definitely want to start diving into or back into more running. Maybe a little bit of like virtual racing. If
Which will give you a structure slash goal. Like maybe. I mean, whatever. You do you.
I need a goal.
I know you do. You are so most people, well, I know not most people. A lot of people think yogis are just like, I love everything. Which yes, but
Yeah.
it's just it being in tune with things, which is not. It's like connected. It's actually being aware of everything. But you do better with your mental state
Yeah.
when you have a focus.
Mhm.
So yes, yoga is your focus, and look at You're blowing it up. You're like, oh, full time, doing some new sound stuff, a little meditative, collaborative, 26 other different things. And then my backyard over here, oh, by the way. So, do you know what I mean? You're like, oh, I guess when I'm focused, and I have a goal, it's easy. So that's why when you mentioned that right before we even started recording, I think, and then it says recorded. And so that's why I can't just detach from being a coach. so, so maybe some
Thank you.
virtual. Okay. Donna did save the chubby mermaids. It was
What?
awesome. It was she ended up walking, her and two friends ended up walking 10 miles,
Oh, nice.
which is super awesome. And the shirt and the medal were manatees. And I was
Oh,
like, if I would have known,
no.
I would have subjected myself to 10 miles of moving for the shirt and the, I would have, because
Yep.
the chubby man, the chubby mermaids. I was like, come on.
Yeah.
But she's very similar to that. So she'll, do stuff, but when she's got a goal,
Uh-huh.
she's
Can't be stopped.
tenacious, in which you are tenacious, which is funny because that is not a typical yogi attribute that people think of, but
No.
that's something that I think like I've seen you come in running from cold rain and me being like, I'm putting extra clothes on now, looking at you, and even though you can tell you're physically tired, you were lit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I love her, but something's broken in there. Like, that's a runner right there. That's weird to me. I do not get that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I think that, you don't necessarily make that decision now or whatever, but I'm gonna, I'm gonna check on you now because you've said it out loud and you share it with me.
I'm gonna get the messages like, "Are you running? How's it going?"
Yes, I'll be like, so what are we working towards? Because honestly, once you make that decision, it then becomes very easy for you to put it in your schedule because you're good with schedule.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have that attribute. Oh,
Definitely.
that's why I'm really collaborative when it comes to friends because I'm like, what are we doing?
Wait, tell me what to do and when to be there, and I'll be there.
Yes, I will give you my all, but I might be licking a tree beforehand because if I don't know where I'm supposed to be,
Yeah.
some kind of special. It's okay. All right,
Yeah.
so possibly that. But no like triathlons or anything like that. Maybe just running still, or
I think I want to swim more. I mean, the lake's right here, so
oh
possibly.
man,
But I
DUH. It's literally you keep like ready. Look at the lake. Where is it? Look at the lake. Yes, it's right there. I think that's funny because you were like, I know what he's trying to do. Yes, it's right there, Jeff. I can fall out my window, roll, and I'm in the water. Okay.
is
Okay,
right.
so yeah, there's no barrier for you swimming more this summer. Okay.
Right. So definitely swimming a little bit more. That was something I just dipped into, and then I didn't really get a chance because of the pandemic to do it again. And I really liked it when I did it. It was a different challenge than anything that I've done before, and I like new challenges. So
Can you hold on 1 second, pretty please? I gotta let my dog out of my room.
no, go ahead.
Ah, you want to go outside, Pat? Sure. Okay, come on, bud. Thank you. He's like, I'm done being patient. I'm going outside. All right. So,
Yeah, no, you're
okay,
good.
so definitely swimming more, different
Also,
challenge.
but I don't have a bike. I had actually borrowed a bike from Hannah at the clinic when she was pregnant, and then a little while after she had her baby. So I gave that bike back, but I I tried mountain biking too. Brian lent me a mountain bike, and I tried mountain biking, and I like it a lot. And where we are, we're right by a state park with a bunch of trails. So I think that would be like more convenient too, to just instead of like driving somewhere, packing up the bike and the whole thing and going somewhere to ride. It'd be really easy to just hop on the trails that are basically right in my backyard. So mountain biking, I might have to get a mountain bike soon.
And it would almost it's the only problem with that is if you only knew people who had mountain bikes and knew people who had mountain bikes and maybe how to do it and like could probably hook you up with, used ones. I don't even know. Ah, that's funny. Oh, and you froze. Okay, there you're
Oh,
unfrozen.
there you
Yeah,
are.
so at first I didn't think you were frozen because you're just giving me the look like, yes, Jeff, stop talking. I know. But then I realized, okay, she's frozen. It's not as bad.
Yeah, no, so I think that is a new skill I want to maybe hone in on a little bit. My boyfriend Eric does it, and so he can kind of take me out, show me the ropes. I have a lot of friends who do it too, a couple girlfriends, and there's a couple of groups that usually ride together, and you kind of take it at your own pace. So that sounds like fun to me. I think I want to try that, but I have to get a bike first. So we'll see.
Well, and so I like that. That's exciting because at least you understand, even though it's not a super clear goal, you're like, okay, I got to look into getting a bike.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you probably have a bathing suit and you can walk out to the water.
Oh
Please
yeah.
be careful with the boaters.
When it warms up.
Well,
It's
we're
too
not going to
cold.
go there because I'm sure you could get a wetsuit. You'd be fine.
Yeah, that's true also. No,
I
there's
know.
no
Don't, once
excuse.
again, I can't not be a coach to you.
These are all just excuses,
I
right?
know. It's okay.
You're calling me out of my shit.
Yes. Yes, I am.
Good
Yes.
for me. I need that.
Yeah. Because you're the one doing it mainly to yourself anyway. So I'm just kind of, you're like, I'm just going to say the exact same words you said so you can hear it. Okay.
Yeah, yep.
It's fun.
And but yeah, as far as like personal goals, I think I just want to spend more time with the people I love. I I can really easily like be a hermit and just do my own thing all the time. I think I got used to that a little bit out of like necessity, just entertaining myself, doing my own thing, being okay with being bored. But like there are people out there who really like we should spend time with them. We shouldn't just say, oh, maybe another day. Like I want to spend more time with the people I love in whatever way that looks like. So that's pretty important to me this summer too. So
That's a wonderful goal. And I think that's a wonderful way to end if you're okay with that because
I'm totally cool
like
with that. Spend time with the people you love for sure. Go do it. Stop watching us and go do that.
so I will ask I think this might be something I don't know because it just popped in my heart.
Okay.
What do you think is the is a big thing or what do you think that you have learned in the time that we've known each other? Not necessarily from me, but just what do you think maybe one of the big changes or something that you've learned about yourself in the about 4 years or so that we've learned knowing each other?
Hmm.
That's a kind of a good question. I like this question
It's a really good
because
one.
it's kind of deep. It's like, oh, I think.
It's really deep. What have I learned
Or how
about
have you changed? That's fine.
have I changed? Um, I think that well, I guess those are two different things, but what I've what how I've changed is I think we can all maybe do a little bit better at this is just that uh, learning to be a little less reactive is what I am have learned and am learning more how to do every single day. um, and even just like in your thoughts in traffic or something, right? Or when you're in line at the grocery store, just like, ah, damn it, like I have somewhere to be, right? No, no, like I'm grateful to stand in line with all of this wonderful food that I get to put in my fridge and cook with. How great. Or like, oh, what is the hold up in this traffic? But like, okay, no, where do I need to be? I'm grateful I have a car. So I've learned a lot of gratitude and a lot of equanimity, just being a little less reactive. Because you have to. There's stimulus all around us all the time, every day. If we are just constantly reacting to all of those,
Ugh.
then I mean you're at a
You would
loss.
be like a lot of people we see on TV or we hear about.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I've changed a little bit in that way, but I've got a long way to go. But I've changed in that way for sure. And I guess what I've learned is that it just always comes back to love. It always comes back to love. No matter what you're doing, you can you can not only give a little more love, but you can receive a little more love too. Like listen to the people around you, believe them when they say they love you. And when you can be more loving, when you can be more compassionate, when you can be a little bit more compassionate in the sense that knowing that your own struggles and your own battles that you have internally, and looking at other people instead of judging them, like we are all just doing the best we can from where we're at. So to be able to see that in other people just facilitates more love altogether. So I think I that is what I'm learning more and more of, is that it always just comes back to love. Yeah.
That's where we're ending. Thank you so much. You got me teary now because I'm going, oh my goodness. All right. Thank you for taking time. Do not hang up yet, please. But thank you so
Okay.
much for taking your time.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Stop recording.
you.